And a special thanks today to 2020 Hemping. Go to 2020hemping.com to get your exotic hemp products. They hooked me up with 5 tasty pre-rolls, pure hemp flower infused with a distillate oil, crushed with isolate. It's the trifecta, legal in all 50 states. If you want to get your CBD pre-roll on, go to 2020hemping.com and use code TrueBuds10 to get that pure hemp experience. Thank you, 2020 Hemping. Let's get into the episode here with Matt Meredith from Cottonmouth Media and the Bongcast.
This is True Buds, that Mary Jane, now we ain't new to this. For my stoners and for my cannabis enthusiasts, never heard a show as good as this. Yeah, number one, it's the best. Bringing in many special guests in the industry of cannabis. Business owners to growers, even artists you know of. So sit back and just roll up the perfect show for my smokers. True Buds.
That's a dope visual.
Thanks, bro. I was feeling it, so then I laid the music on there. You know what I'm saying?
I feel it, dude. Did you film that?
No, I bought the stock footage though, so I own the rights.
Nice.
I think it was like $100, but I was really feeling that footage, so I was like gonna film it myself, and I'm like, this is quality footage. Why not just buy some royalty-free stuff, man?
It's a good point, dude. I've always kind of like, I don't know, felt like I have to film it for some reason, but it's smarter and quicker and more efficient sometimes, and probably even sometimes higher quality, probably.
Yeah, like that's better than what I could do with my equipment, but I feel your point though.
Right.
Because that's how I was thinking, but then I'm like, this is the first or second stock footage I've ever bought. I brought something for my brother on a project I was working on.
So, yeah. Done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
And sometimes this is better than what you would have done.
Hell yeah, man. Matt, it's good to have you in the studio, everybody. You know it's your buddy Jack Woltering here. We got Matt Meredith in the studio from Cottonmouth Media, the Bongcast. Go subscribe and check that out.
Good to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you, bro. Yeah, like I said when I hit you up, man, I found Cottonmouth Media a while back. You know, I came up in one on the side, like related videos on YouTube, so I checked your stuff out. And your quality, man, is there, like video, everything, man, performance-wise, all around. And then I found your Bongcast recently. I started like trying to, get more into the podcast game. I got this going on. I'm like, oh shit,
yeah,
this is legit. You interviewing people in cannabis, some cool episodes that So,
I appreciate it. Yeah. No, doing the YouTube thing started in 2017 on 420 in 2017, and I just like started running with it a little bit, and
I think that's when I started too, dude.
I went in and out, of like doing it, and then got self-conscious of it. Oh, I'm putting myself out on the internet smoking weed. Like, is this just stupid?
I feel that.
And then I put out like one particular video where it was like a vlog / review of CannaDips, which are you familiar with CannaDips?
I've seen them.
Yeah, they're just like chewing tobacco, but not tobacco. It's just pouches with THC and CBD in them. So I did a review on that. Became friendly with them through a guy that I went to school with. And then that video started getting like, a couple thousand views and stuff when I was traveling in Europe at the time with my girlfriend. So I like stopped paying attention to it for the first time. I was like, whoa, this video's got 2,000 views. Like, maybe people give a shit about this stuff. And then from there, I really started to like, okay, what can I do? And then How to Clean a Bong. That's the video that really like kind of took off, if you will. That made me like, okay, like I'm doing Cottonmouth Media.
Fuck yeah. I feel I'm right there with you because I did a bunch of comedy stuff, and then I did a couple how-tos, and I'm like, same thing. I'm like, holy shit, these how-tos are fucking blowing up.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of continued down that route with doing some how-tos and stuff like that.
Nice. What was your first how-to video that you put out?
Shoot. I think the first one I think that hit it big, which I had to take down now. YouTube was fucking with me. I had to take down 2 of them. They both had over 300,000 views too.
Oh shit.
But they were how to make fucking dabs at the hair straightener.
Ah, nice.
And it was spontaneous.
Super creative, but since it's about the concentrates, they're like, fuck you.
Yeah, something. Yeah, exactly. And then like, but it was after a shoot. My buddy's like, oh, you want to press a dab with the hair straightener? I'm like, yo, let me film it real quick.
Right.
I mean, just simple, bro.
It's smart.
Yeah.
And there's a I realized a really similar thing. I was looking at, because I knew how to clean a bong, and I'd been doing it throughout my entire college career, and I was just like, is there any shit like this on YouTube? And so I look it up, and like there's some stuff like, but I'm just like, oh my god, it's 9 minutes long, bro. I'm bored as fuck. This person doesn't have any energy. Like, I could do this literally in 2 minutes. I could explain this shit. And I was like actually really inspired by Peter McKinnon. If you know who Peter McKinnon is.
I've definitely heard his name. Can you?
He's a YouTuber that he does a lot of cinematography and photography tutorials. And he was a professional photographer and cinematographer for 10 plus years before he really started putting out his content. He blew up like quote unquote overnight, and he put in a lot of work. But like once he was on YouTube, he had like 100,000 subscribers maybe, and he got to 1 million within 9 months. And I was following him because I was really curious about learning photography. Really liked his video, and I started like, wow, this guy's got energy, bro. He does like his classic intro, you know, where he's always like, what's up, everybody? Peter McKinnon here. And he's just like, whoa, in your face to start off the video. And he's relatable. And I was like, bro, I fuck with this guy. I feel like I have a similar like demeanor with people, and people would enjoy watching a video. So I was like, let's put a 2-minute version of a bong cleaning video. And then as soon as it ever has like 20,000 views or something, then like people will click on it because they'll see, oh, shorter video. It's got a nice little thumbnail, and it's only 2 minutes long.
Fuck yeah.
So I was like 2-minute tutorials. I kind of like, I didn't rip it off of Peter McKinnon. He does 2-minute, a 2-minute type of tutorial. He doesn't call it 2-minute tutorials. But I was like, dude, that's in theory way smarter because shorter amount of time to get the same message across. It's punchier. It shows off your editing skills better. And it's just like, you've held their attention for the entire video versus like a 9-minute video where people are just like, skip to 3:46 for the real information, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's why I'm vibing with your content, man, because I had the same thought like when I started around the same time. I think 2017 as well, man. And I went on same thing, YouTube, and I typed it in. I'm like, okay, there's a lot of people doing shit, but there's not a lot of people bringing a whole lot of quality.
Right. Right. I saw that in like, honestly, the very first time I even got like introduced to the cannabis industry. That's an interesting story. I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and I was an education major. So I was originally going to be like a middle school science teacher, right? And started to get involved with filmmaking. Like, I was definitely calling it videography at the time. I don't want to be a gatekeeper though, so I won't do that. But so I got really involved in video, and my friend saw that I had made a short video for one of the philanthropy events that I hosted. And he's like, yo, are you a videographer? I was like, yeah. And then he's like, I have this event, a cannabis event in Los Angeles that I need someone to help get content for. So I was like, cool, I'm your guy. So I drove down from SLO, and it was my buddy that I played basketball with in high school. His name's Sam Zartoshty. He was the first guy on my podcast actually in that first episode.
Okay, word.
And so shout out to Sam.
Shout out, Sam.
And I got to the event. It was chill. Like, everyone was super friendly. It wasn't super high pressure. Didn't feel like I had this like gotta get these specific shots and da 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 da. It was like, yo, I kind of trust you. And I was like, someone trusts me, and like, I actually don't know what the fuck I'm doing. This is awesome. And there was a dab bar, and it was a burlesque mixed with comedy event. Excuse me. And it was why am I blanking on their name?
Was it like the ladies in cannabis thing you did on yours?
No, it was called Stand Up and Take Your Clothes Off. And so this woman, I think Karen Freeman, I could be butchering her last name, but her name is Karen, and she hosts that. And originally it started in New York, and then they brought it to LA, and it had the Lucas brothers. They were like the headlining comedy act. Are you familiar with them?
No, not.
Have you ever seen?
I'm sure Tyler is. Tyler's a comedian.
Yeah. They're like these black twins that are just like super funny, bro. They're just like kind of morbid sometimes in their humor. Like, if you've seen 22 Jump Street, you know, they're like, they go through the sequence where like, I don't want to die. You want to die? No, I don't want to die. You know? They're hilarious though. And I was just like, I'm filming these guys. One of my first professional event ever. And I'm awesome, filming the Lucas brothers, bro. And it's like burlesque. So women are like dancing like half naked. And this is like, I get to film it, and there's a dab bar. I'm getting free dabs. Like, I'm getting hooked up, learning about all these like infused drinks and droppers, and learning what 710 means. Like, it was overwhelmingly awesomely stimulating, and I was addicted. So I was just like, dude, and I knew Cottonmouth Media was the name already at that time, so I was already telling people there, like, Cottonmouth Media.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I watched your podcast with how you got the name, and I thought that was pretty funny. You
nice.
Like set up, and it was your boy who set up and said it, or was it you?
It was my boy. It was Tom Paulson who sat up and said that, because we were just in the garage seshing, you know, classic college, just getting stoned, but we're brainstorming specifically what's Matt's production company with weed related to called. And then I had at the time like some more, excuse me, Some More Media was the name of our business, my girlfriend and I, and my brother actually. And we were just doing social media marketing. And then I was like, Some More Productions before that. I was like, yeah, dude, we're a production company, even though I have no idea what the fuck a production company even does. So I was like, we're Some More Productions. And I was like, we should do Cottonmouth Productions. And then I think that's where he sat up and was like, Cottonmouth Media.
Those moments too, when you're with your boys and that happens, everybody's like, fuck yeah. Like,
yeah, it's just me and him though. So it seems epic as fuck.
Yeah.
We're like, yeah. And then like you zoom out, and it's just like quiet crickets.
Well, it's hilarious though, because it still is epic though, the fact that how long ago that it came up and it's still becoming and growing and something fucking awesome.
Something else I got like addicted to, if you will, in a good way, was just like creating something out of nothing. For the first time I did that was with philanthropy, and it was this Make-A-Wish benefit concert that I did. This is what like changed my mind from being like a middle school science teacher to doing business and like filmmaking, really like trying to do something involved in marketing maybe and stuff and business. But it was like a Make-A-Wish benefit concert where I did everything under the sun because I was really trying to prove myself to my fraternity that I could be the external vice president and AKA be in charge of philanthropy and community service and be called the vice president, And so I ran for it, promised them about this concert no matter what, if I was going to win, lose, draw. I lost, put on this concert, found the talent, and they cost money, so I paid them. And I got a free venue, which was on campus though, so it was super clutch.
Hustling.
And then I sold tickets like 3 days a week on campus and taught people how to do the sales in my fraternity, and I pitched to a sorority on campus, Chi Omega, to do the concert with me because their national philanthropy was the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So they were down, and now I all of a sudden had 200 girls as a sales force. And so I had these girls like required, right, because they're new members, to sell 10 tickets or pay for it somehow. And so we sold like 600 tickets or something, raised $5,000, and I performed at the event too. And I like, I ripped off some chord progression, but like I wrote the lyrics to a song about the Make-A-Wish Foundation for it.
So you're a musician as well?
Music's definitely been a huge part of my life. I don't necessarily call myself like a musician, if you will, because I feel like I've never decided like this is my craft and I'm going to like make money off of this, but it's definitely been a huge like hobby throughout my entire life.
So guitar?
Yeah, guitar, okay. And then like started fucking with singing when I got to college.
Word, man. Just
like acoustic shit though.
Nice. What? Yeah. Do you have a favorite jam or somebody favorite musician?
I mean, I guess a favorite. I was born and raised on classic rock. My first concert was AC/DC.
Shit, that's some epic shit, dude.
Yeah, 13 Black Ice tour, bro, at the Forum, smelling some weed, and you're just like, that smells nice. What is this?
Yeah, it's like what? Yeah, exactly. What's going on here?
And this is where my dad's like, kind of like, welcome to manhood kind of a thing. But it was pretty funny. But so I was always inspired by that stuff and never even thought like, pop music was a thing. And then Jack Johnson really was, I think, the big inspiration for like being able to like at all imitate his voice in his songs, because singing, I don't know if you've ever tried it. It's like, I mean, you're an actor, so I'm sure you have, it's super self-conscious, right?
For sure. So is that on your Bongcast intro? Is that you singing that little intro?
No, I wish. That was I got that song on YouTube for a minute when I first started doing like video editing. I was really looking on YouTube for non-copyrighted artists that were like good. And there's this one guy, DJ Quads, who's really good. I don't think that's his music. It might be actually. But that was definitely in one of the playlists that I found him in. And so I always
chilling. That's what
I always loved that song. And so I was just like, I used it in some of my original videos, and then I was like, dude, this song's still pretty slappy, so like, let's throw it in there.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
If you have
if you hear the lyrics in there, it says at the end of it says, and when it's over, I press rewind though, and so it's like, rewind the podcast, listen to it again.
Yeah. That's what's up. Yeah, that was clean, man. Fuck yeah.
I'm sorry, you were gonna ask a question.
Yeah,
I think I interrupted.
No, I had it in my head. Oh shit, no, it's all good. It was about who knows what it's about. It'll probably come back to me.
It's okay, yeah. I one time I used to hate losing those thoughts, I've decided to let them fleet more.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. All right. Yeah, you try to think too much, and then it messes everything else up. Just
Sure.
let it go, right?
Right. At the end of the day, like, did it really matter? Probably not.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you like to smoke, man, and like how often, and what's your go-to? Bongs, probably.
Bongs are definitely my
like
go-to. Yeah, because it conserves weed the best, and I think it's one of the cleaner methods for your lungs. Excuse me. And I've talked about this before, and I did on my podcast once about how I'm not really a huge believer in joints. I believe them in like a social setting, and they're nice, to be passing around. Like, it's very simple. No one has to keep lighting and shit. But I feel like you are not maximizing the nug as much as you could. Like, you're just burning it away, and like obviously you're losing a lot of like the good THC, I feel like, just to the atmosphere. Versus with a bong, you're like, I'm getting all this shit, and it's smaller amount, and like this weed's gonna last longer. So I've always just been more into that. At first, you start with pipes, apples, whatever you can get your hands on. But bongs definitely, and I'm definitely like a daily consumer. I've been way more conscientious about my consumption. I've always been really conscientious of my body, I feel like, but like more so the last couple of years, try to be like, okay, like let's consume in a productive way, and don't be like a quote unquote stoner with it, if you will. Like, not denying I can be a stoner, absolutely, and I am, but it's nice to just be like conscientious. Like, I'm just going to smoke at the end of the day, or like if I do smoke in the middle of the day, it's for like I'm scheduling it out, I'm planning it out, and I'm using it versus like letting it use me, because I feel like people can let weed use them just because they're not even thinking about their relationship with it. So yeah, daily consumer, and I go through my fluctuations of like not smoking for a couple days, or like smoking once a day, or like smoking 4 times a day. Kobe died yesterday, so I smoked like 12 times yesterday.
Shit. Yeah. I was with my boy yesterday. He's like, dude, I just smoked fucking 5 blunts. He's like, I'm trying to get over this shit with Kobe, man. I'm like, shit, I hear that, man.
Yeah, me and my homies just went to the nearby bar and had some beers, and smoked some before we went, and just like, cheers one to the Mamba, bro. He was so inspirational in so many ways, especially like I played high school basketball, bro, so I was like loved that right when I went into high school was right during the championships, like 2009, 2010 was my freshman, sophomore years of high school. Like, Kobe was my fucking idol, bro, especially I had an injury at the time, so I was just all about like perfecting my shot during those times, and I was just like, Kobe was the type of shot that I wanted. And then took that, I have a jersey with me, it's in my car, but I took that jersey to college, bro. It's been the centerfold on that shrine, on my in the background there. And then I brought it back, and I haven't like thought about it very much, the last couple of years, comparing with LeBron, actually, how I feel about like having the different stars on the team. And I was like, I just never felt super connected to LeBron the same way I did to Kobe. And then he just like, you see this crazy news, like, oh my, Kobe's fucking gone. And so I just like took that, bro, my Lakers shorts, threw that on. I went on a run, like 30 minutes of hearing the news. And I just like sweat my ass off working super hard, bro, and running. I got some honks from people, and it's just like, send love. And I feel like that's what he would want, bro. Just, I sweat on in his jersey, and I threw it back on the wall. And I was like, fuck yeah, Mamba.
Fuck yeah, dude. That goes hard, man.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever done anything like that was my first brother to have his kid. So first niece I've had, where the wife was having like some complications. So my little bro and I were like in the basement. We were like happened to be working out. Yeah. So we're like, let's do, like, we started working out and doing sets for her. We're like, let's do it. Like, we just got into it. It was like a weird thing. Everything ended up being good, but I was like, that's dope that you like. Do you train a lot? Do you smoke before you train?
Good questions. So I've always been super into fitness because I did basketball growing up. I was like, the 3-sport athlete or whatever. And when I was doing sports up until like 7th grade, I was doing the 3-sport thing. Then I like had to start to decide for high school, like one sport, right? And then like soccer and basketball were my favorites, but they were the same season. So I had to pick one. Interesting story of how I picked. Long story short, my brother was in high school before me. He was on the varsity soccer squad. I had a bet with the varsity coach at my house when they had a pasta party. I was in 8th grade, and he's like, "You gonna play soccer?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't know." It's like either or. And he's like, all right, let's go outside right now. And then like he's like, you make it from here, you play basketball. You miss, you come play soccer for me. And it was middle of the street, bro, like a half court shot, and it was just nothing but net.
Shit,
and I was like, basketball, bro.
Fucking hey, dude. It
was meant to be.
That's awesome. That's a good story, dude. That's some
Thanks.
pressure, yeah. All right, that's cool.
Yeah, so I was just like, oh, easy decision now. And then from there, you know, graduated from high school, or even when basketball ended, you're like, oh my God, dude, I've had like 6 days a week of intense training, 2-a-days for the last 4 years. Like, I need to exert myself. And so I started getting into weightlifting. Did like powerlifting for the first few years of college. Also kind of with bodybuilding because I was interested in both. You know, cut down to like 7% body fat at one point. But I was like the same, you know, weight I was when I graduated high school, but my body diversity was just so much better, you know?
Yeah.
My muscle maturity and stuff. But yeah, I like kind of took a break from weightlifting. I when I was in high school, I tore my meniscus, so I had surgery. And then I tore it again when I was 21, just playing pickup like at college as a senior. And then I had surgery again. I knew exactly what I had done to it when I heard it because I had done it before. But then that made me really like think, and I was like, damn, bro, like I can't play basketball for the meditative therapeutic way that I've been using it in college. I need to find like a kind of a different outlet. So I started running. And so now I've been like super into running for the last few years. And I ran the mile in high school actually. So I was kind of into running already because I did track. But they always wanted me to do cross country. And I said, fuck no.
Dude, that shit was always crazy to me, bro.
Yeah.
I got mad love for it, but yeah, that shit's hardcore.
Yeah, because for doing like distance running, it's like you got to want it, you know? So now though, I run like 3 miles, like about 5 days a week. And like at the halfway point, I do some pull-ups at the park, you know, and some push-ups and some air squats. And then I keep my run going. Sometimes I do a couple of circuits. Sometimes I just do one. Kind of depends how I feel. But now it's like, I'm like, okay, I don't want to pay for a gym membership is actually really why I'm not weightlifting. But eventually I'll pull the trigger on that and start weightlifting again just because I'm in my mid-20s now and I can feel actually that I could put on muscle mass. Like I can just feel it. You ever read Bigger, Faster, Stronger?
Yeah. No, I haven't read it.
But you understand the theory behind it of like cutting and bulking.
Yeah.
Cutting and bulking. You have to do it over, you know, a few cycles in order to really be able to put on muscle mass. Which is why skinny guys are like, I can't put on weight. It's because they've
like
never
the hard
tried.
gainer. Yeah, you have to eat. Like my brother actually has a book called Bigger, Better, Faster. Now he's a bodybuilder, fitness guy, and same.
I'm sure it's really similar.
Yeah, and it's all the basic same principles. It's like people when you're skinny, like it sounds like we both were, you know, trying to gain weight. It's like you just have to eat more food. You have to intake more calories. To get
and you burn more. Your metabolism's higher, so you need to eat more than the average dude. You know, I was eating 4,200 calories a day.
For real?
Intentionally when I was really trying to bulk, bro, and like I hit 200 pounds on a scale once.
Oh shit!
It was definitely like a fluctuation in a day, but like I sat pretty at 192.
Damn, like, I never got that big. Damn, hey, props to you on that shit, dude. I
appreciate it.
Dude, yeah, my biggest was like 185, like back that was like my peak bigness, man.
Yeah,
but like, dude, it's just too much work, bro. That's kind of why I stopped like trying to get super big and stuff. I was like, I just want to get more healthy, man. Like,
totally.
So I'm in the same boat. I go outside and work out and shit. I got a
sunlight.
Yeah, sunlight, man, park. But running for me puts a lot. I have a lot of flat feet, so like, so it puts a lot
that stresses you.
So I do like speed walking. So I like speed walk to the park, so it's just not so much pressure, but I'm still getting that like steady cardio.
Dude, fuck yeah! If I saw there's this guy who actually power walked in my neighborhood like all the time growing up, and he was known, bro. Like you should just become your neighborhood
Be that
power
guy,
walker.
yeah,
dude.
Should I get the little weights too?
Yeah, exactly. A couple shake weights in each hand, you know, 4-pounders. You'll be flying, bro.
Oh shit!
You've ever seen that in the Olympics?
What?
Power walking in the Olympics?
No.
That's an Olympic sport, bro. Because like it's illegal to have both feet to be off the ground in power walking. So you have to have a foot on the ground at all times, and it actually fucks up their hips. They have a lot of hip problems because they're like overacting their hips to go faster.
Thank you. That's probably why my hips are tight, so I'm always stretching them out.
Yeah, dude. Yoga.
Fuck yeah.
Yoga. You ever do yoga?
I've never taken like a class, but I do a lot of stretching and foam rolling and stuff.
Oh, dude, you should take a yoga class. It'll change your life.
I've seen some weed and yoga classes.
Yeah? In Venice, you should go.
I want to hit one of those up, maybe get some content there, see what it's all about.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, I get stoned before I go to yoga anyway, so That's definitely the way to go.
You know
Because
what?
yoga, like, I had a really cool yoga instructor, and she talks about it like people don't go, like, yogis don't go to yoga to get better at yoga. They go to yoga to get better at life.
Deep, man. Yeah.
Because it's like a huge mental game with getting up past your barriers in yoga physically. And it's the same shit, just like mentally or with sports.
Yeah, I've never heard anybody be like, "Oh, I started yoga and it fucking ruined my life."
Right. Right. Never heard that. You know,
everybody's like, it's the best thing ever that's happened to me. Like, even older guys I talked to in their 50s, 60s, like, I had surgeries and I started doing yoga, and I'm like a new fucking person.
Yeah, there's tons of those stories where people just had like out of whack hips, you know, like can't walk, and now they're just like bouncy, well, like they're 25.
Think about the average person how often they stretch. The average person probably, I don't know, I can't speak for it, but
even what we were talking about off camera right before this, which was like waking up with and being aware of your circadian rhythm and drinking water first thing versus coffee. The book that I'm listening to right now is called Own the Day, Own Your Life. It was recommended by this guy that I was working on this set, and it was like the husband of the talent, and he's like, yeah, dude, you gotta read this book, because I was talking about how I was like on the cusp of feel like I have this great discipline, but I'm just, you know, sometimes I let myself have excuses. And he's like, bro, you just got to listen to this book. And so it's been really helpful. Just waking up, first thing you do, don't hit snooze. Just go outside, get sunlight, drink a glass of water. And there's even like a concoction, you know, to get proper minerals into your bloodstream in the morning. Shit. And the metaphor is like when it's super cold out and you start your car engine, if it's really like below freezing, you need to let the fluids warm up before you go. Otherwise, it might damage the internal workings of the engine. And like people are really no different. But like what you were just saying, the amount of people that stretch, the amount of people that like take care of their body first thing in the morning or like care about it throughout the day like that, it's like super small percentage of Americans at least.
Yeah, man, that's awesome too. I'm gonna check that book out, man.
Yeah.
To try to get on that rhythm, because I was saying I'm a night owl. My rhythm kind of flips and flops a little bit depending on what my schedule's like. But
right, and sometimes there's nothing you can do about it, you know. And just don't judge yourself if it's 2 hours late, an hour early, you know, shit happens too. That's the other part. Like, you listen to Gary Vee at all?
Yeah, I've heard some of his stuff. It's been a while though. I need to go back and check out some of his stuff.
He's interesting to like follow. I'm with you that I like stop listening to his stuff, but I always go back to his podcast because I feel like that's the best way to get what he's saying in the macro in like the shortest amount of time. Is that like
the Daily V deal when people call in?
He actually just stopped doing that, but that was a YouTube series. He now has the Weekly V, which is supposed to be more like an inside look to what he's actually doing on a day-to-day basis to give more context of like his actual business that he's running, and like, because, you know, he's got that kind of the image of just being like kind of a, like he's just talking, he's like, you know, nobody sees the behind the scenes of him doing the CEO job stuff, and so he's trying to like show the side of that more. So he stopped doing Daily V actually, but the podcast is just like keynote speeches. It's the full realm of his content, but just on the audio.
Okay.
Yeah. His Instagram is also fire as well.
Yeah.
Like he just has pictures, similar thing like what you're talking about. He'll have just like speeches, and he'll have graphics that just show all sorts of shit. And then every now and then it'll be like a graphic that will just say like, get off Instagram. That like he posts. So you see that and you're like, oh shit, all right, I gotta go do something, man.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, I don't feel like I want to do this right now. I'm like, what would Gary say right now? He'd be like, shut the fuck up and do it.
Yeah.
But I feel it's so funny on his Instagram. I follow him too, and I feel like what he does, everything is on his podcast. If you just listen to his podcast, he just takes the snippets from the podcast that are super fire, puts them on his Instagram, and that's obviously like his main way of suggesting of how people like make multiple types of content from one piece, if you will.
Yeah.
And it's just long form, and now you have 6 short forms from that long form, and that's what he does with all of his shit, dude. And so his Instagram, and so I don't even look at his social platforms anymore. I only listen to his podcast and while I'm running, and then I feel like I get the full of what he's trying to put out message wise, because sometimes he's talking about platforms and stuff, and I feel like I actually get some insight about like what's going on maybe in the marketing world that I'm a little bit less aware about, and he's just like, watch what I do, not what I say. But a lot of what he does is he repeats the same things a lot. And so if he's, you know, he started talking about TikTok a little while back, you know, so I started fucking with TikTok.
Yeah, he knows that shit too. Yeah, and I like the first time I saw him too, his character's kind of like, You know, he just comes at your
Jersey, bro.
Yeah, he's fucking East Coast as fuck.
You should love him.
Yeah, he's fucking dope. The first video I saw, he was like on the street in New York or some shit. He's like, you got to get your fucking shit together. No fucking excuse. I'm like, this guy goes fucking hard.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I got mad love for Gary. And the thing, too, I thought was interesting that I've heard him say so many times, he's like, yeah, you know, somebody like me, he's talking to corporations. He's like, I have 15, 20 people running my image. He's like, so you guys need to step your fucking shit up. But I think about that, too. I'm like, if I had fucking 15 people helping with media right now on True Buds, like, that'd be fucking insane.
Yeah, dude, and that's like on the smaller end. I think it's like 25 people now.
Oh, yeah, huh? He just keeps.
Yeah, because he's just like, he's not afraid to hire, too, you know? And he's like making, like, his personal brand obviously is just like through the fucking roof at this point that, like, he can almost do whatever he wants. Like, he's becoming so extremely mainstream. It's like overwhelming.
And I think everybody wants him. I think he's definitely gonna get the Jets.
Yeah, I don't think he even gives a fuck about that, and that's what he would say. He'd be like, it's just about the chase. He just likes the process of getting the Jets. He doesn't even give a fuck about actually getting the Jets. He just wants to play the game, you know, which is the fun part. Which is just like, for me, I was like, dude, I'm kind of glad that I got let go from that job this morning so that we could do this podcast, because I was like, this is just a sign, bro, that like Cottonmouth Media and like my filmmaking and the documentaries and the podcast, that's really what I should be putting my time into.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, it's awesome to hear that too. Like, you making something positive out of it. It could be easy to be like, oh, I'm just gonna do nothing today, and like,
sure,
you know.
Yeah.
No, like, I love the mentality, man. Like, just being optimistic.
Thanks. Yeah, I think Kobe's passing away yesterday too was just like, that information is so meek in comparison.
For real, that puts shit in perspective every time something like that happens. That's what I was thinking yesterday. I'm like, I need to go fucking harder, bro.
Yeah, and this, you know who Yvette Brown is? She was. You ever watch Drake and Josh?
I feel bad you dropping some names on me.
No, it's all good, bro. You know, you ever watch Drake and Josh?
That's yeah.
And then she's Helen.
Helen.
She runs the movie theater.
Yeah, she's the movie theater, and she's just like, you know, she hates Josh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's kind of addicted to Josh. She loves Drake because Drake's cute.
Yeah.
But she posted something on her Instagram saying, like, you know, puts things into perspective that, like, how fortunate we are for just like people to come home safely from work, you know, at the end of the day. Like, you take that for granted so easily, and you can get frustrated when someone comes in because dishes aren't done, or, you know, you're late or whatever it is, but like, at least you're fucking there.
And that's what I do too. When I start stressing about some shit, I'm like, yo, step back. What actually matters? If the world was like, you know, what would I do today if like it was the last day? I'd be with the family and friends and shit. So it's like, I'm stressing over like trying to get a video done or some other shit, and it's like, yo, let's boil it down to the most important shit. Not that other stuff doesn't matter, but that's how I kind of think sometimes, to put shit in perspective. Like,
totally. Yeah. Gary talks about his family fucking dying, you know, so it's just like, it's extreme, but it's definitely the exact perspective of what people think about when Kobe passed away. You know, like, Gary's example is always like something crazy, like, what if I got hit by a bus in China? You know? And it's like, what if you crashed your private helicopter in Calabasas?
Yeah. It's like, damn.
Yeah, perspective, dude. And 13-year-old Gianna, bro, and then obviously all the other people on board, but like 13, man, and 41's young as fuck.
Yeah, man, that's a fucking...
It was like Kobe was born to like play basketball.
Yeah.
Quite literally. Like, how long was his life without basketball? Like,
yeah, how long has he been been retired?
Retired in 2016, so not even 4 years, bro. Damn. Yeah. Like 3.5 years of blissful retirement, you know, and like starting to build up that relationship with Gianna, because she started to express interest in being like more of a basketball player and more of a force, and she started showing some talent and stuff, and they had that game.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
Just mad love out there, man.
Yeah, for real. We can bring it up though.
Yeah.
Not to bring it down, not to bring the vibe too down here. Just I loved.
It's good to go there Kobe. Sometimes. Yeah.
I just loved Kobe, bro. So it's hard to not.
And go check out Matt's videos on Cottonmouth Media on YouTube, and definitely subscribe, and when you go and see him, like we were mentioning, like, you'll see the backdrop. He's rapping the Kobe hard, man, and just, that's dope. Like,
and Magic and Wilt Chamberlain too.
Hell yeah. The Stilt, man, that's some Kansas right there, buddy.
Yeah, he's from Kansas.
Yeah, he started at he was the big KU guy.
Nice.
Where basketball started.
I didn't tell you this before. I went to Kansas City, Missouri, because my cousin lives there. And I didn't know that until like this summer when my girlfriend and I did the huge road trip around the United States. And I was like, I guess we're going to go see my cousin in Missouri.
Did you do anything or just kind of kick it at his place? Did you go around the city at all?
So it's so I met her and her family. No, it's all good. And it was like super, super, super brief. And they had to go to church the next morning and stuff or whatever. But got to meet they breed rabbits.
Interesting.
And eat the babies.
Okay.
And that's how they make some of their dinner. And I learned that from her kids. So I met like my cousin's kids. I don't know exactly what you call those. Second cousins or cousins once removed. Okay. One of those two. But yeah, it was interesting. They're living like the 1950s American dream. That's what I would call it.
Yeah, there's some places like that.
They didn't know what Stranger Things was. That's just giving perspective on how living under a rock they are in regards to the internet.
Yeah,
we asked for their Wi-Fi password. They're like, oh, I'm not quite sure. We haven't checked that in like a month. And I was like, wow.
Yeah, like meeting people like that. I love meeting people like that too.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay. But I'm also the type of guy who likes to just set my cell phone down for a little bit and not look at it. But not knowing that shit's kind of crazy. Yeah, you don't need to if you're raising rabbits and kind of living, out there in Kansas.
Yeah, no,
or Missouri.
Exactly. I think it's kind of important to just be, at least for me, to feel aware, kind of what's going on.
That's where
in the world.
Yeah, that's where I'm always on the fence though, because I don't watch. I'll do some cannabis news more recently, but like for the past long time, I don't listen to news really. But I should a little more to be more informed. But a lot of times it's just downer and just a bunch of shit. So I'm like,
sure, yeah. I mean,
Trump this, Trump that. I'm like, fuck this.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah, it's better. It's good to be informed. So like, I almost like it's on in the background of where I'm at, and I'm kind of paying attention to it. My dad listens to a lot of stuff, so he always talks to me about it. So I have conversations in like a safe, private environment about it. But like, I'm with you. It's kind of tough to also go out in public and have like a civil conversation about it at this point.
Yeah.
So, but watching it and just being like super nonpartisan about the information that you're hearing.
Yeah.
Just like, what does this actually mean? That's what I've felt like lately.
My bad, bro.
No, you're good,
what's weird to me, dude, with the news is like, and I'm not one of these guys who's like fake news, all that type of bullshit. Sure. But what has always been interesting to me is like, dude, they know and they're aware, like their ratings go up when there are catastrophic events. So it's like, I struggle, like, I'm not saying they're rooting for these events, but they all know they do better when these events happen. So it's just like this weird thing to me, knowing these people pounce on a thing like 9/11 or Kobe dying, like almost like rats coming to dead meat that just died,
Right.
And that's why I can't personally watch the news, man, because I get those, it just has a dark energy to it all the way.
Yeah.
And then now people are trying to spread more of like random articles of like blind kid able to see and stuff. Like you kind of have to go to Facebook to see these like random articles that bring you joy, because the news isn't bringing that shit, man.
Yeah. It's funny you say that, because I feel like part of like why we make documentaries, my girlfriend and I, in our business, and like just for passion, is exactly what you said. Our business was called Some More Media at first, and originally that idea stemmed from my girlfriend was really into journalism, and she wanted to start this website called Some More Good News, because she was tired of like all of the news being negative, and she wanted just a platform where it was literally just a positive news platform. And then that's how Some More Media became a thing for our business name, which is still technically the legal business name for our LLC, but we just have a DBA for Unreel Stories, UNREEL, by the way. Unreal, fun stuff. We're punny as fuck, dad joke friendly. But yeah, dude, I'm totally with you. Positive news is like kind of lost in the sauce, but if you watch, like, there's a lot of documentaries I feel like that also express a similar message to what you're saying. And I went to this thing called what was it? The Spark Change Summit, and it was at UCLA, and it was like documentary and feature filmmakers talking about how they make films basically for people to think in a specific way, like Hotel Rwanda. The filmmakers of that were there. Like, that was supposed to shine like a really positive light on African culture, and to understand what's going on in a more first-hand perspective, and to just be more empathetic about that culture. And there's so many documentaries that are really about that and like that, and even features, like Black Panther, that had a lot of intention behind of how we view Black people. That was the whole reason, a lot of the reason behind the movie. And I realized that almost every bit of content that is out there, whether it's the media, the news, feature films, documentaries, that's why they're out there. It's to make you think a certain way.
And that's what I feel like you do it too. That's what I try to do, and I'm sure Tyler does in his comedy, and I know you do in your videos. Like, there's always, I feel like with everybody, like you're saying, there's always something underlying. A lot of people might not see it in something I make, but
and it's not always bad.
Yeah, there's intention there to give a feeling, or like some comedy videos I'll try to have a message in it, have it funny, but sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. But to your point too, with the news and shit, I was comparing this in my head the other day to, like, I'm a big hip hop head. I love hip hop. And I'm just seeing all these dudes. It's been going on forever, you know, especially recently. All this beefing on Instagram and shit. People starting drama, just like the news, to just up the views, up the sales.
Think about it. It's expressed in television even. Like, think about Breaking Bad. Like, I'm taking nothing away from that because I love that series. Fucking amazing. Obviously, the #1 critically acclaimed television show that's ever ran.
Is that really?
Yeah. But that show really very much so encourages like crime and bad behavior. If you think about it, it's encouraging that it's really cool that this teacher is like illegally manufacturing all of this crazy meth that people are getting addicted to in statewide across the nation, and like he's a fucking drug lord, and like they're encouraging how dope it is when he takes out people and stuff. And like, not to say that he wasn't standing for what was right in a way in certain things that he was doing, but like it just completely glorified bad behavior. And people fucked with it. And, like, I fucked with it. Like, saying, yeah, bitch, was super cool for a while, you know? But, like, at the same time, where it's encouraging kind of the wrong direction. And most television, for ratings, and stuff, they kind of go down that route because they know it performs better, versus a nice story doesn't perform as better. Yeah. Or as good.
Yeah, I watched a couple episodes. I just never got in. And once there's a couple seasons, I'm like, that's a lot of...
Right.
But yeah.
Once they start to go 7 seasons deep, you're like, whew.
What about the movie? What did you think of that new Netflix one?
I thought it sucked.
Oh, really?
I thought it sucked. Love Aaron Paul, bro. Thought that El Camino sucked.
Well, just kind of...
I just thought it was like one really long extra Breaking Bad episode that didn't add to the story context at all.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion.
I was like, appreciate your honesty.
I feel like they were so stoked on the release, and Aaron's like, dude, can't wait to release this, guys. It's been so secret. I'm like, wow, it's so impressive how secretive they kept this. Then I watched it, and I was like bored by the end. I was like, this wasn't even cool. There was no action.
Yeah, just kind of like dragged out through the chase of him kind of figuring out what he's doing after.
I feel like they basically just solidified what you thought.
Yeah. Are you kind of in the same boat? What are your thoughts on it?
I liked it. I didn't love it. I didn't think it was, there were a lot of people who thought it was like a masterpiece. And like, I thought the show...
Sure, I think the cinematography was amazing.
Oh, yeah, the cinematography was amazing. But the overall story, I did want more out of it.
Yeah.
Real quick, so you guys were talking all about, you were saying especially how movies and TV, they kind of have different things that we all learned from them.
Yeah.
And dude, like one thing that's interesting also is like, so we have all this gun violence today. Mm-hmm. And we have people who we have anti-gun people, we have pro-gun people, whatever argument you go on it. So right here it says 94% of the most popular movies since 1985 contain at least one violent scene. So we all know that there's violence in every movie, and half of those movies involve guns. Because I remember this one stat, and I couldn't find it just now, but it was like, it's something crazy, like 70% of movies have at least one gun in them. And it's true. How many movies are there really that you've watched that doesn't have any guns at all? Only kids movies. And if that, even kids movies might,
Right.
Yeah, just scrolling through Netflix, you see it. And it's like, sometimes I'll put a movie on, like when I'm kind of laying down, going to bed, and my girl usually falls asleep a little before. She's like, put something on without like a gun or like shooting in it. I'm like,
well, it's subliminal.
That's pretty fucking hard.
It's subliminal messaging too, in a way. Like gun sales probably are higher,
and then we wonder why we have all these problems now.
Right. Not to dive down like the gun conversation, but just to say that like with any product.
Yeah. No. Let's dive down this.
Only political talk, guns, and Trump, please, right now. Next 2 hours.
Oh shoot.
But no, like any product that you put into a film, a movie, a TV show, like any product, it's consistently there. Like subliminal messaging is just like that becomes normal,
Yeah.
Versus like, I'm for the most part, I don't see guns in most of my life,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like it's just in movies, but like also from the movie making perspective, it's like, oh, dude, like we've got way higher production value and we have a high ass budget, so we're gonna get the the realest looking stuff too, first of all, once it gets to that scale. But then like the more explosions and stuff, the more expensive that costs, but the more action and like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like action that you can actually sell is in the movie. So like the more explosions, the more guns, honestly, like the better for your box office, because it's all about making money at the end of the day.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the whole game right now. And that's why there's so many repeats and remakes. But I think it's also going through an interesting time with like stuff like podcasts, long form content, movies getting longer over the past couple of years. I feel like the independent vibe is coming back more. To the,
documentaries are becoming way more popular the last like decade. Documentaries, like short form documentaries, you know, I'm a big believer that like a feature length for an hour and 20 minutes, it's got to be really punchy for me to sit through the entire thing and to be super interesting the whole time. Versus I really think like 20 minutes is your moneymaker for a doc.
I'll dive into some more of those, but I have a couple that I think are really well done. I like the Thin Blue Line.
I don't think
that
I've
Errol
seen that
Morris.
Blue Line.
Yeah, his shit's really good. And then Pumping Irons.
I've seen Pumping
Irons, a classic.
Yeah. He's like talking about when he weightlifts, it's like having sex.
He's like, it's like coming, and then like at the end he's smoking a J. I'm like, fuck yeah, Arnie. But that like. That was part of the culture. Then that's like what propelled him, and then he got like Conan and shit. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Arnold was a hard ass worker, bro.
Yeah, he
still is, dude. Still is.
Sorry.
Those guys, those guys don't stop.
Was and is and has always been.
It's like, dude, wait, like hasn't he had like some heart attacks and shit? It's like, and you're still he's like has a heart attack. He's on set or something the next day. Like, yeah, I'm ready to go.
That makes me think of Sylvester Stallone, bro. I look up to him in a similar way.
Oh, he like broke his neck recently or some shit.
Yeah, I think that was like within the last five-ish years he did that, and I think he's gotten recovered a bit from that. But when he filmed Rocky IV with Ivan Drago, the big Russian guy, I'm blanking, Dolph Lundgren. They did real sparring for that, and like Dolph Lundgren hit him in the chest so fucking hard that he literally went into cardiac arrest.
What?
And like they finished filming that movie, obviously, and like
that's
all
an
that
epic
shit.
Rocky.
Yeah,
I didn't
but
know
like
that
sparring was real.
Yeah,
not
shit.
all of it, but a lot of it, because he wanted it to look more real.
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren was fucking. He still is swole, but in that movie, like,
that's
like, I was like, this guy, like, when I was watching him younger, I was like, this guy is a fucking animal, and they make it so like dramatic too. He's like running on a treadmill and sticking him with steroids and shit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I must break you.
If he dies, he dies.
Yeah, dude. Gary Vaynerchuk loves that movie actually, because the Russian's like, I didn't fight for you, I fought for me. Fuck you. Fuck this country. I fought for me.
Yeah, that whole culture is really interesting. My girl's from Ukraine. She moved here when she was like 11, but that whole culture is really
that's fascinating,
man.
I'm sure it's interesting to pick her brain on that stuff.
Yeah, it's really interesting. She was saying
you hang out with her family and talk about it?
She has a pretty small family. I met her mom. Her grandma lives out there, and her uncle still live in Ukraine. And I was talking to her about like that. Her grandma doesn't have a heater. She uses the oven in the winter.
Oh shit!
She's like in her 80s.
Those people are just hard, bro.
Yeah,
like
tough.
Dude, they fucking go in, bro.
Oh my god, this is full circle. Like the Own the Day, Own Your Life, bro. It talks about like cold showers, chapter 2, and like
shoot,
I started.
Aubrey Marcus, yeah.
And it's all about like using acute stressors in intentional ways is basically the point of a cold shower, where it's like an acute stressor is like, physical things that you stress about, which is like survival essentially. And so like having a quick cold shower in the morning is actually just like a great way to kickstart your day, where like you're not stressing about something like psychologically that is kind of like financial or like your business title, like things that don't really matter, that stress you out over time, that like basically kill you and cause cancer, But like the acute stressors, like cold water, really good for you actually, because then it helps you give even just a little bit of a daily perspective on like, wow, at least I'm not in this cold ass shower right now.
Yeah, exactly. You hate it and you face it in the morning, and you're like, it's just like your first challenge that you got through,
Yeah, exactly.
Do you do that every day?
I've started doing it the last like 3 days. I take a regular shower, and then I do like just cold right at the end. And today was like the most where I was like, I'm gonna be a little bit of a bitch and just put it on my face. But like for the most part, I try to turn all the way around and get the cold water on your back, your shoulders, and your face. Because like on your face to start, you're like, oh, nice, okay, got through it. But then you go to your back and you're just like, woo! Like I am really uncomfortable now.
Yeah, that's where I thought it would always be cool to like have a pool, or just even live close to the ocean and just hop in that shit in the morning.
Yeah, no, they in Aubrey Marcus's book, bro. He talks about how Native Americans it was like a ceremonial daily thing, I'm not quite sure which tribe it was, but like they would jump into the cold water on a daily basis with their like young toddlers to like basically a daily baptism, but like they didn't even consciously know that that was like, you know, them doing acute stressors to help them survive the harsh conditions of like the wild.
Shit.
But like that's what it helped them with, and they just looked at it in like a spiritual way, but like it was their instinct. It was like the human instinct to fucking like be able to survive, you know.
They grow up like that. And when you said that too, it made me think of like, you always see the scenes of them smoking like a peace pipe. Like, I wonder a lot of times what they were smoking. Was it like opium, or was it actually just weed? Like,
I mean, it was just, I think, anything they could hallucinate on.
Yeah.
You know, there's like ayahuasca and stuff. I've never done that, but any kind of hallucinogen that could give you an alternative perspective that you're not just like, you know, sitting in your regular conscious state.
Yeah, a lot of people are hyping up like the DMT and ayahuasca big time right now.
You ever done DMT?
No.
Me either.
I would try it. I've never done acid. I've done mushrooms.
I've done acid before, and I've done mushrooms. I actually only did mushrooms once, and it was not a great experience. I had a panic attack. It was my first and only panic attack I've ever had. But I started watching Goop, which is like the Gwyneth Paltrow's company that they did a documentary series on recently, and it's all about psychedelics.
Whoa,
yeah.
no way.
First
I'll check this out.
episode's like firsthand perspective of like these 4 or 5 people doing mushrooms in Jamaica.
Interesting.
And honestly, it made me think like, bro, okay, it even gave me perspective on my trip that I had, and I was like, oh, it was negative, but like actually it really meant something kind of about like maybe the people that I did it with and stuff, and the environment I was in.
Yeah, it's mindset for sure. For sure.
I think I subconsciously knew that and reacted the right way from it, but now I'm like kind of conscious of like, oh, I think that's what that kind of meant.
And how much did you take?
I think we all, again, like my friends were not super thoughtful and strategic in us taking these, so I think I took like 2 grams or something, or 2.5 grams or something like that, but they gave me the weird looking one, you know? So they're like, yeah, don't take. They're all like, that's a weird one. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I've never done it.
See, that's the thing. I think everyone should take psychedelics at some point in your life. You can. It's almost like when you talk to someone who's tripped, like you have shared similar experiences that you can't explain to somebody who hasn't.
I feel like it's almost like smoking weed even, too. It's like if you've never engaged your endocannabinoid system, you just don't know what it's like to feel high. Like you're just missing out on a complete like spectrum of conversations.
And like you, and with like the mushrooms too, how you said the first trip was like bad. Like that's when I talk to people who don't like weed, and I'm like, "Have you tried it?" A lot of times people, or sometimes they'll say no, but also a lot of times they're like, "Yeah, I had it once." Right. So that's where it's like, so a lot of people have a really bad first experience, and I'm like, yeah, you just need to try it again. Like, do a little more mellow, but like, it's easy to have a bad experience the first time. Like, fuck this.
Dude, especially, I'm sorry about it.
Yeah, go for it.
Dude, I've heard of kids like, and kids I knew in college, like doing shrooms for the first time, and then it's like they're going to a fucking theme park or something. It's like, dude, you are not doing this right for your first time experiencing this mind-altering substance that a lot of people think, you know, oh, I'm just gonna get high. Like, dude, your first time, you're accessing a new dimension that you have never seen before. You know, so that's why people have these bad experiences. Because like I had a bad experience first time on shrooms, but I took like 3.5 grams or something. Walked around like freshman campus, tripping out, but on the come down, felt good about it, and realized like, oh, I like this. Just lower dosage, calm setting, you know? So people need to learn that.
I think I would be interested in trying to like microdose shrooms, you know, so that it's not super crazy, nothing like visual necessarily, but just like the actual like therapeutic use for it, you know? I think most people like mistakenly, like I did, take it in a recreational setting that you don't understand. You don't have a proper shaman that's going to lead people through shit that really just like understands psychedelics in general and the scope of how this is going to go. But yeah, well, I was going to say something similar about weed. I feel like people don't realize that they didn't have the right people with them either when they seshed. And like, you got to have someone that's, again, like a shaman for someone's first time, for them to be like, yo, like you might actually kind of hallucinate the first time you smoke weed, but like, know that like, that's really never going to happen again. Yeah. You know, because after that first time that you like have that first crazy, like, oh my God, I kind of over smoked and like, I'm so fucking high. My body is feeling things. And I'm just like, my eyes closed and I'm seeing TV shows, you know, like all kinds of different stuff. Yeah. You're imagining things. You're actually hallucinating. But then like after that first time of hallucinating, you pretty much never do again, because now your endocannabinoid system is basically like engaged.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
For first timers too, I would never recommend a first time person to eat an edible, even if it was small. Just start out with a puff,
Amen.
like, because I've talked to people like that too. Like, yeah, I had an edible first time. Like, whoa, big mistake there, buddy. Like,
Yeah, walk before you can run.
Oh man, yeah, I love my edibles. You fuck with edibles,
dude? I was like I was saying, I've been more conscientious about my consumption the last like 2 years, and I haven't dove into it yet, but like definitely have been like, okay, I need to be smoking like not on a daily basis and doing like just edibles at like maybe right after dinner or something on certain days or whatever, versus like, you know, abusing my lungs. Because I also, being an athlete, I remember like first times I smoked, people are like, oh damn bro, like Matt can take big rips, bro, like he's got some lungs. And I'm just like, fuck yeah I do. And so I was really into it at first, but then now I realize like that's kind of stupid to like really over challenge my lungs in like a capacity of smoke kind of a way, because that's just like not sustainable, you know. And that's why I don't do dab glob content or like bong rip content or like celebration and do 20 bong rips, you know. Like I don't do shit like that. Like no disrespect to anyone that really does that, but if we're being honest, like that's not quality content.
Yeah, and I don't do that either. But I
no
would
respect.
like.
I wouldn't. Again, like I said, no disrespect to the people that are doing it, but my philosophy is just that like that's not providing the masses value. But that's why I make content, is to try to provide value in what I'm doing.
The crazy thing though is that still gets a shit ton of hits.
Right, and that's why people do it though, and that's my point of like it's easy to like bite that that sandwich, if you will, because it's just like, oh man, it's so tasty. It's got avocado on it. It's got the fucking works. Like it's toasted on a baguette and it's just yummy, bro. Like, but you should eat the tofu, bro, because the tofu route, bro, long term, you're gonna be healthier and you're gonna run faster than the fucker eating the sandwich.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's a nice analogy there, bro.
It's just not sustainable to do dab glob content forever. You know, you always have to one up yourself. You know what I'm saying? So now you're literally making content to smoke to get more views. Like it's a horrible psychological cycle, in my opinion, that why don't I get more views because I'm like, damn, this video provided crazy value and was a trending topic. That's why it got so many views.
Yeah.
Why don't we one up that? Versus like, why don't I smoke more in this video?
Yeah, you got me thinking too. Like I think I might. I'll do something crazy like that. Like, but I'd like to get a huge group of people together and just roll a fat joint for like, you know, get 100,000 subscribers or something. Just throw like a fat.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. That's just like not my personal style.
I feel you.
But like if that's like also like okay, 100,000 subscribers. I decided I'm never gonna celebrate something until maybe I get to that point again, because like who cares if I get 10? Who cares if I get 20? Who cares if I get 50? Like I think 100 though is like okay, that's pretty respectable. You got 6 figures of people that care about what you're doing. But at that point, I'm going to be like, how can I provide crazy value in my celebration video?
For real.
You know?
I love it, man.
How to roll the 1 pound joint.
Fuck yeah, man.
Right?
Yeah, and I love all this, as we're wrapping up here, man, I feel like our content, and I feel like we have a similar mindset on a lot of stuff. And when it comes to cannabis, content making, just being in this industry, man. So
yeah, I agree.
Thanks for coming in again today.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Anytime, bro. I'm excited for more collaborations. Maybe we could do some dope videos and fucking see where it takes us, bro.
Absolutely, dude. I appreciate that you reached out. I was really surprised when you reached out, and I was like, damn, bro, someone's got me coming on their podcast. So,
oh yeah, man.
Thanks.
All right, thanks for coming on, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, and everybody go seriously check out the Bongcast. Check out Cottonmouth Media on YouTube. Is it Cottonmouth Media on Instagram as well?
It is.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Cottonmouth Media. Check it out, man. Quality content.
Twitter is at Cottonmouth Matt.
Cottonmouth Matt, man.
Because media was 1 letter too long. They wouldn't let me do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, unfortunate. But Cottonmouth Media, yo.
Cottonmouth Media, yo. True Buds TV collaborations coming at you soon.
We out.
Thanks for kicking it.